We are going to do another example of solving a quadratic with imaginary numbers, kind of working our way up here, making it a little bit more complicated. So in this example, we're going to do x squared plus 48 equals 0. And we need to isolate for x. We're going to solve for the variable. To do that, we do opposites. So we subtract 48 from both sides. That gives us x squared equals a negative 48. We have to take the square root to undo that squared exponent. Square root of x squared is just plain x. And then this is where it gets interesting. So we need to take the square root of negative 48. Now, negative 48 does not factor out evenly. We cannot just take an even factor of a square of 48. So what we can do instead is, if we go off to the side here, make kind of a factor tree to see what we can take out. So if we just start doing our factors, we can say 2 and 24. We've got 24 is 2 and 12. And so basically what I'm doing here is just breaking down the factors. So if we were to multiply all of these back together, they would equal 48. Now, because it's the square root, we need to find pairs of 2 that we can take out. So there's a pair of 2 2's. So we have 1 2 that we can take out. We multiply it by whatever else we can take out. There's another pair of 2's, which means we can take out another 2. And that leaves us with the square root of a negative 3 inside, because there's no pair to go with that 3. And we still have that negative sign inside. Simplifying that, we get x equals 2 times 2 is 4 times the square root of 3. And we take out that negative sign. Since the square root of negative, we put the I. Again, we have to consider, well, wait a second, got to do square root. That means we have 2 answers. So don't forget that plus or minus sign here. That's kind of the magic solution. So we have x equals positive 4 square root 3i, and x equals a negative 4 square root of 3i. The nice thing about this plus or minus sign is that it's just a consolidated way of writing our answer. So instead of having to write out 2 versions, we can just say there's a plus or minus in there. We know there's 2 answers. And that's how you go about solving a quadratic that does not factor evenly, that has an imaginary number.